Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We bring you stories of faith, love, and devotion. Yeah, just kidding, please help us grow by hitting that like button. Now on to the story. 22F25M, I caught my girlfriend in a lie, and I'm shocked how sophisticated the lie was. Basically, my girlfriend lied to me, saying she was meeting up with two girlfriends for a night out, but instead went to a different friend's hotel room party with other guys and girls. She's not cheated, but she's lied about her whereabouts. TL, doctor, my girlfriend told me she was going on a night out at a club event with her two girlfriends, and accidentally bumped into a friend's hotel room party with other guys and girls and had pre-drinks there, who were also going to the same event. Her friend, whose hotel room it was, asked for me to come along too, but she lied and said my BF is busy and never asked me. What actually happened is my GF lied to me, and she went to the hotel room by herself. There was never any night out planned with her girlfriends, and then went out with this group of guys and girls. She knew 2 of the 8 people there. She stuck to this story despite me asking her several times about her night in detail, but my gut knew something didn't add up. Her 2 girlfriends were nowhere to be seen in social media stories/snaps. Later, her friend, who rented the hotel room and I trust, mentioned she came by herself to this hotel room party, and that it was planned and not a chance encounter. My GF basically lied to my face, and I've not brought it up yet because I'm trying to convince myself that my GF is incapable of lying to me. Hi all, this is a long post. First half is a little background, the second half is the main bit. I've been with my GF for a year. I'd say we have a good relationship. She was the one who asked me to make it official, and I posted on her Instagram. We both live with our parents, but hers are very strict and traditional. For the first 6 to 7 months, our relationship was like bliss. It was almost too good, to the point I used to wonder. It was like she was on her best behavior. It's important to mention that my GF's parents are very strict, and she had curfews, but I didn't know this at the time. I used to fully trust her, and take her word for everything. I remember thinking that I've finally found someone I can trust. One weekend we went on holiday. We've been on holiday before several times with no issue. In the evening, we started to talk about family and parents, and long story short, my GF opened up a little about her dad being very strict. I had no idea at the time, and it seemed like it was a little distressing. Later in the night, I think talking about her dad triggered something, and she ran off in the town center at midnight. We were outside a bar, I glanced away for 10 seconds and she was gone. Long story short, I spent the next few hours trawling the streets drunk trying to find her, until it was the early morning. I was about to call the police and her parents. She came in at 6 a.m. at the accommodation we had rented, literally looking like she had slept in the park. I asked what happened, why did you run off? My GF revealed to me that her father is abusive, a control freak, and she hates him. I think she may have had a mental breakdown of some sort. He has tried to hit her, and is also abusive to his wife too. She has curfews, is not allowed out at night, for nights out, and the fact she even has me as a boyfriend was a massive thing for her, as her dad wouldn't normally allow this. All other relationships she's had were done in secret. My girlfriend is used to lying to her father, although she doesn't lie to her mum, as the dad is abusive to both of them. She says she hates the man. A week before the incident happened, she was calling me her soulmate and stuff like that. It was almost like her true colors showed after this event, because our relationship started to go a little downhill. The reason I made this post. Recently, my GF went on a night out. It was planned for the day, and she texted me whilst I was working that her girlfriend had a spare ticket to an event, and it'll be a girls' night, her and 2 other girls. Later in the evening she called me, and said she's going. I asked her a little more about the event, and she said it's an open invitation, implying if I wanted to come, but I said no, it's just a girls' night so I won't. They were going to go to her girlfriend's house, and then get their mum to drop them into the town center. That's cool. Later in the night, I see my GF reposting a Insta story she's tagged in, and she's with her male friend, who I know, but it looks like they're in a hotel room. I have her male friend on Insta, and in another story he has a group pic of 4 girls, one of them is my GF, and 4 guys. Later on I confirm this was everyone who was in the group. Now here some alarm bells went off. My GF was meant to be with 2 other girlfriends only. In the group pic, none of her 2 girlfriends were there. At this point of time, I'm at home thinking it's a girls' night out, and she's at her friend's house. After seeing the story, I get a message from my GF. OMG, you won't believe we bumped into Megan, friend from the second group, and all her mates. No mention of any hotel room or anything, but I knew she was in a hotel room drinking with these guys and girls based on her friend's Insta story. I asked her, no way, haha, you bumped into them at your girlfriend's, group 1's, house? She replied with, no, we are out. Her reply made me realize that something is off. She said her friend, group 1, needed that toilet really badly, and they stopped at the hotel. No mention of them stopping at the hotel, going up to a friend's room for drinking, basically joining a party, no nothing. We live in a busy city, and there is bar after bar in the town center. If you were desperate to use the bathroom, you would never skip all the bars you are walking past, and head to a hotel to use a bathroom. This is what didn't make sense to me. I got some more details out of her the next day as I didn't buy the explanation, and she basically said they were trying to get to a bar and her friend could not wait, so they went to the hotel as it was on the way. This was impossible, because the bars came first, and they'd need to walk an extra 1 to 2 minutes to get to the hotel and take a small detour. Anyways, I'm at home getting this text off her. No mention she's at a hotel room with other guys and girls. Later on at 2 AM she posts a Snapchat story of her dancing with all the people from the second group, but none of her 2 original friends were there. At this point, I was almost adamant she had lied to me, but I had no concrete proof. We were meant to see each other the next day anyways, so I asked her how her night went. At this point, if it wasn't for the social media stories, I went to bed thinking my GF had a girls' night with 2 friends. My GF then told me her story. She went to her friend's house, group 1, and then their mum dropped all 3 girls to the club. Because the club hadn't opened yet, they walked to a bar, but her friend was dying for the toilet, so they stopped at the hotel, as it was on the way and came first. This is not true. Whilst her friend was using the bathroom at the hotel bar, they happened to bump into one of her friends from the second group who happened to be pre-drinking in a hotel room upstairs. So my GF and 2 friends joined the second group in the hotel room. Everyone from the second group was also going to this same event, so it made sense. Now, the chances of this happening are so slim that I just didn't buy it, but I gave my GF the benefit of the doubt. They all went out to the event in the end. Over the past days, I brought up this night out again in conversation. Not like you're lying, but more in conversation and get more details about the night. I kept giving her chances of coming clean and telling the truth, but she stuck to this story. I asked her in particular which friends she was out with, exactly which bar they were looking to go to, and I sort of implied that her bumping into her friend in the hotel is 1 in a million. My gut knew I was being lied to, but I didn't tell her. Fast forward, I joined a night out with my GF and 2 of her friends from the hotel room. My GF was still making her way, but I was speaking to her friends at the bar. The story he told me was completely different. The real story. He messaged my GF that she should come out to the event, and they have a hotel room and she should come meet him and others there as they are having a little party. I asked him if she came by herself, and he said yes, she came by herself, no other girls. I also asked him if he actually messaged her to come meet them in the hotel room, and he said yes, it was planned. This refutes what my GF saying it was a chance encounter. My GF's male friend also said to invite me at the time, but she said he's busy. My GF didn't even ask me. Later in the night, I asked her other friend if my GF came alone, and she also confirmed. I didn't tell them that my GF told me something else, as I didn't want to start an argument on a night out. Basically, my GF lied to me about this night out, and I'm genuinely surprised at how good her lie was. It was so good, that I almost bought it had she not mentioned the hotel room along with the social media posts. I'm shocked how well she can lie to my face, and she tells me she loves me. I'm all over her social media. At this party of hers, she met 4 other guys and followed them on Insta, who are friends of her male friend, and she has started to like one of the guys' posts. Insta is set as public. Normally, I couldn't care, however now I feel like I can't trust her. In a group picture at the event, she has her arm around a guy's neck, like a best friend's arm around the neck. It was super close. There were guys and girls in that pic, but that was the first time she met that guy. I appreciate in pics you do that, but it was close enough that you'd think he was the boyfriend. Throughout our relationship, I told her how important trust is and told her there is no love without trust. I'm not sure if her lying to her father all her life has something to do with it. I now question everything my GF tells me, because I don't know if it's the truth or not. I don't know if I should call her out on it, or if I should tell her friends that she lied to me about the night out. I don't like others knowing about our relationship problems. I'm not sure if I should act a bit more naive and see if she slips up on anything again before speaking to her. How much more investigation do you need to convince yourself? I feel like no relationship is worth having to turn into Sherlock Holmes or Benoit Blanc to try and figure things out. If I'm ever at that point in the relationship, I'd just leave my partner. The trust is more than gone at that point. I always say that if someone's going to cheat/break your trust, let them. Don't waste your time stressing about the who, what, how, and where or being obsessive. Once you have enough info to know, it's time to leave. I love that Benoit Blanc is being mentioned in the same breath as Sherlock Holmes. I saw Glass Onion with my parents over the weekend. I can't get his accent out of my head, haha. I saw it over the weekend too and I so love his whole being. His voice and mannerisms, a very memorable character. Super sleuth over here. Jesus Christ. You're a fool if you stay with this woman. A fool of a took. Yeah, this will not end well for him. Big time. She lies to her dad all the time, but you want to think she is incapable of lying to you. Dude. Story 2. I discovered the affair when I came home early to tell her about my diagnosis. Throwaway accounts for all of the obvious reasons. TW, terminal illness, so caught in action. I guess the only reason I am coming here is because in my situation and course of action does not allow me to fully disclose to those close to me. On the 1st of Dec I got the news I was dreading. All of the tests have confirmed the diagnosis. I have stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So basically this will be my last holiday season. I am okay with what is going to come. I am at peace with that. I have had a life well lived. All of my loved ones will be taken care of. I am naturally a private person, so my WW, Jane, is unaware of my tests. I did not want to worry her until I had answers. So I head home early to have the talk. This is not something I want to do over the phone or text. Well, as you can guess, since I am here, my life changed more than once that afternoon. When I arrive at the house I noticed the car of one of my business partners in the drive. There was no mistaking it, flashy expensive with a personalized license tag. To say this is out of the ordinary is an understatement. I pull up our home camera system on my phone and notice it is in privacy mode, not recording. So I let it be and drove off to my farm property. Now our camera system is for safety and I never look at it unless there is a concern. With that said, I also love to watch for wildlife on the outside cameras. I also find it oddly satisfying to watch storms come through. So for my own enjoyment, years ago I configured a second video recorder to archive the cameras to local storage. That storage is not accessible via my phone. So when I was at the farm, I opened up my computer and looked at the other server to confirm what my gut was telling me. And sure enough, there they were, snuggling in the living room, drinking wine, dancing, then going up to the bedroom suite. Apparently they left the doors open, because the microphone recorded their activities after they left the camera view. With my limited time left, I wanted answers, but I don't want the drama of a confrontation and divorce. Call me what you will. But all of my devotion and love for her left me that afternoon. I have all of the emotions that are to be expected. I know that I am not to blame. I have been a loyal, romantic, and attuned partner. I am now thinking about myself. I know what is important to me. So I called my lawyer, and we reviewed my will and our prenup. I told him what was going on. We worked on understanding how long and to what extent this affair has been going on. What has been found is disturbing, and I either clearly did not know the woman I shared 2+ decades of life with, or something in her changed. At this time I am not going to say anything to my kids, WW, and I never had children, or WW. I am going to put on a stiff upper lip and get through the holidays. Give the kids and grandkids one last holiday memory with me involved. I will be the doting father and grandfather, and then try to play the doting husband role. Some background for some of the obvious questions. AP is a widower and is not remarried. He is a business partner, but not a friend. I do not invest with friends. I never married my twins' mother, M and F. It was her choice, and I completely agree with her that at that time she made the correct decision. My kids' mother, Sarah, married a very wonderful man, Steve, when the kids were 7. Sarah and Steve never had kids of their own. I got my head out of my ass when the kids were 3. I have been very involved with them before that, but that is when I started my road to be the father I wanted to be. Sarah and I co-parented well together, and I would call Steve a friend. Sarah, Steve, and I are in our 60s, Jane is almost 60. AP is in his 50s. Jane and I are both in our first marriage. We were in our 30s when we married. What do I need? An outside outlet and release valve. If I am going to accomplish my goal, I need to vent my anger and talk through my situation. What better outlet than internet strangers? I am at peace with how and when my life will conclude. TL, doctor, got a terminal illness diagnosis and found out my SO was cheating when I came home early to break the news. Update, I discovered the affair when I came home early to tell her about my diagnosis TW, terminal illness, so caught in action. First, I want to thank you all for all your support. It really has helped. I have read all of your comments and it has given me a lot to think about. I am going to give some general information to help clarify my situation. Sarah and I were very young when we had the twins. They were a surprise but always wanted to. So the twins are in their 40s and the grandkids are all teens and older. Christmas is a week-long affair every year. We spend Christmas through New Year on the farm. We cut down a tree after everyone arrives. We decorate, cook, play, and celebrate as a family. Sarah and Steve have been a part of this tradition since I bought the farm. I remain steadfast in not telling anyone until after the new year. If I told Sarah, she would not be able to keep it in. I don't want to place Steve in a position to lie to his wife. I want the kids and grandkids to enjoy the week. We will have plenty of time to cry and prepare in a few weeks. Jane's presence this week will just be a small detail in the long run. Really, I don't care about her anywhere near the rest of the family. The finances are very interesting. Jane and I met and were married after we both were very established in our job and wealth. She had a good job with a great pension. She also had 2 inheritances that were in a trust. We agreed early on that we were both comfortable and we would not disclose to each other our entire worth, by her insistence. We also have a prenup where any property and or trust that predates the marriage and any income from those resources are not considered marital property. Again on her insistence. Now I have provided both properties, housing, with utilities. I purchase the travel, food, and fuel. Basically, I support her 100%. Her income and wealth is spent by herself. She purchased her car, clothes, personal travel, and cosmetic surgery. She is a very beautiful woman on the outside but has shown she is very ugly inside. A few days after I got my diagnosis, I announced my retirement from the non-profit. Now knowing what I know, I noticed Jane was a bit uncomfortable. I can guess why. I will be around more often. So tomorrow is my last day of work. Now I will be focusing on spending time with the family. I gave the camera server info to my lawyer and gave him access from his office. So I don't know if they had activities again, but I would assume yes. Again, I don't care at this point. I know who I am and what is my worth, and AP is a big step down. As flashy AP is, I am low-key. I drive a 15-year-old pickup truck. I like jeans and t-shirts and coveralls in the winter. I know for a fact that AP does not have anywhere near the wealth that Jane thinks he does. How? Since the trust has invested in his business, I get quarterly financials. I don't tell anyone how much I have, that is between my accountants and me. But let's just say that the trust has been growing for 30 years. I live a modest life. And there is enough there for my great-great-grandchildren to enjoy the farm and have their education paid for. Once Jane knows what she lost, that will be her reckoning. I just won't see it. December really got busy. We did our normal social rounds these last weekends. AP was at one of the parties. It was hard to not keep an eye on Jane and him. I don't think I was caught. With being so busy and wrapping up everything at the job, I have had an easier time keeping it together. Jane has not expressed anything that would lead me to conclude that she knows I know. I am not proud of this, but I still sleep in the same bed. I have been selfish with her as of late. I feel like I am using her. But she has apparently been using me for at least the better part of this year. I am not as honorable as many of you have made me out to be. I hate this small amount of deceit. So don't worry about Jane getting everything, because she will not. The trust is in great hands. I have detailed instructions on how it is to be managed. Thanks to the comments, I have made plans in case my health turns for the worse sooner than I want, or if I pass unexpectedly. I have also made plans to have in-home care when it is needed. Jane will not be my caregiver. If I become incapacitated, the lawyer will tell Sarah, Steve, and the kids. Jane will be blocked from me. All important papers, valuables, and whatnots have been moved to a safe location. Finally, I have also started letters to each family member, and Jane. Those have been harder than I thought. So I wanted to update you all before all of the festivities start. I might check in during the holiday week, but if I don't, it is planned and expected. Again, thank you all. TL, Doctor, I am getting my affairs in order. Update 2, I discovered the affair when I came home early to tell her about my diagnosis, TW, terminal illness, so caught in action. Mission accomplished. We had a great drama-free holiday week. I have made it to 2023. I apologize to anyone in advance. I find humor about my condition helps me. I am finding I am being a bit selfish currently. All of the participants dispersed yesterday afternoon. I only have a few updates because I am not going to talk about my week with my family. That is for me to cherish. Observations about WW and this week. I honestly think this is the first time she stepped out. Being with all of us this whole week seems to take a toll on her. It is funny how when you know something, a person's actions make more sense. She was secretive about her phone. She stepped out of our family gathering to get some air quite a few times. The best was when she needed to run into town and one of the grandkids wanted to go to town also. The gymnastics she did to not take the grandkid. I have to admit that I kinda played with it by asking why not. So the affair is continuing. With me now retired and she is asking me about my plans for the day or week. So I go ahead and tell her, and then ask her what her plans are. Later this week, I will suggest we meet up for lunch due to me being in the same area as her on our plans. Just to F with her. I guess it was true that someone said on another post, unpredictability is the cheater's worst enemy. This morning I met with my lawyer. I had made decisions and asked him to draw up papers. I replaced my temporary will with my new permanent will. That has been signed and should not have to change again. In preparation for all hell breaking loose, I had him draw up divorce papers based on the prenup and the evidence of the affair. She gets nothing but 25% of our shared assets. Think housewares and furniture. I keep all of my liquid assets, retirement funds, and items I purchased with my own wealth. Also, if I push it, she is required to pay alimony. I have signed them and have a packet created with all of our evidence of the affair. I am holding this in case I want to use it. I sold my loan to the trust. I will allow the trustees to convert it to shares in AP's company. Speaking of the trust, I have decided how I want it managed. I will drop myself to a 1% trustee. The twins will get the majority of the trusteeship. The 4 grandkids will make up the rest. All of the grandkids' proxies will be Sarah and Steve. As each turns 24, the kids' trusteeship will move from Sarah and Steve to the grandkid. If a fraction is left over, Sarah gets the extra share/vote/value. I have planned a meeting with the kids, Sarah and Steve, for next week. I plan on telling them everything then. They have to sign documents and they will want to know why I am doing this. So when this is done, my personal value will be my liquid assets, personal property, and the money from the AP's loan. So in the worst case scenario, Jane will get very little compared to the assets and value in the trust. In the next couple of weeks, I will disperse the few personal items I want to go to the kids and grandkids. Those are already at a safe location where my lawyer has access. Some of you commented on my health. Well, if I was not clear, I am not fighting this. I am letting nature take its course. So I have no ill side effects from any treatments. I did notice this week I was more easily tired out. The family noticed also. I played it off as the old man got older. I still have a cough. The cough is what started it all. It was my tumors in the lung that led to all of the diagnoses. I just played that as a lingering COVID cough. I expect to go downhill pretty fast once other issues pop up. But by that time everyone will know. And thank you for all of your well wishes on that aspect. I am planning to spend time with the family. A large trip with all of their different obligations would be tough. That reason is why this week was so important to me. It was the last time I could be with all of them for an extended amount of time. I am thinking of a small trip for myself. We will see. I plan on spending a day one-on-one with each child and grandchild. That is my next goal. The letters are not done. Those are very difficult. I will let you all know how the meeting next week goes. Best to you all. TL, Doctor, my week went as I wanted it. My affairs are in order. We hope that by sharing these stories with interested folks like you, we can help people recognize the signs of a relationship in trouble, and avoid so many of these heartbreaking situations yourselves. Have a good day or night. Wherever you are.